Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to another episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. Check day, big day. The title of today's stream is FOMC today. Will we pump or dump? Lots to talk about, guys. This is the first rate cut that we are going to have here in the U.S. by the Fed, by Jerome himself and his committee, his constituents. And I believe it's been 4 years, over 4 years. Okay. So the significance of this FOMC cannot be over or understated. It simply just needs to be stated. It's so damn important. The market is most certainly going to be a chop and a grind fest before. But I think the way that I'm looking at a lot of these charts is there's a lot of them that are set up to rip higher on the high time frame. And you can just simply look at them and go, well, are they screaming distribution or are they screaming we're waiting for a cut to be the wind in our sails? My bias is to the upside, and we're going to get into all the examples as to why that is. But yeah, we have FOMC coming up very soon. As of this morning, the current market probabilities of a 50 basis point cut is 61%, and the probabilities of a 25 basis point cut is just under 40%. I kind of think that the market, I almost kind of think those odds are BS. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think that we're probably gonna get a 25 basis point cut because to me, a 50 basis point cut on the first cut that we've had in 4 years after the fastest hiking cycle that we've ever had seems a little bit aggressive. 50 basis points to me seems like, oh shit, we need to cut because we really need to cut. 25 basis points to me screams a little bit more, yeah, we're good. We don't really have any bad data, but we can afford to cut now because we did such an awesome job. It's like a victory lap cut by the Fed. And really, for all of us, it's more of a mean reversion cut. Like we just went through a multi-year period of very high interest rates after coming out of a period of historically low interest rates, and things didn't break. Let's drop them slowly. A 25 basis point cut to me says, hey, this was a soft landing. Congratulations. What's that thing that you say, Tucker? We flipped the bird and we landed it. What is that?
Oh,
What
I
is,
was going to come out and say he inverted the bird and I
yeah,
landed her safely in an open field.
that's
Yes.
right. Yeah, he inverted the bird. So
Yes.
to me, 25 basis points is let's go. Let's send it higher. 50 basis points to me seems like an aggressive first cut, uh, given that we haven't had an effective federal funds rate reduction in 4 years. So I would like them to dip their toe in the water with a 25 basis point cut, and that would signal to me, and I believe to the broader market, hey, we're good to go. Mean reversion, send small caps, send shit co's and shit coins higher. I'm a little uneasy about 50, but also I could be wrong on that because over the past few weeks, the probabilities of a 50 basis point cut have dramatically increased. It was barely priced in a month ago, and now it's over 60% that it's going to be happening. I don't know if this is a game of telephone or something that just kind of went haywire and the probabilities got all kind of out of whack, and it's, the market is just way out in front of its skis and overly fearful. Um, but we'll see. Like I'm happy to be wrong about it. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we go up either way. Maybe we go down either way. Uh, it's a very, very difficult meeting to assess. But I can tell you 50 seems aggressive to me. 50 seems to me, if we get 50 basis points, that tells me right now. And again, I could certainly be wrong on this. I'm having a very tough time kind of trying to work through the mental gymnastics of this meeting in particular. But it tells me that, hey, there's a 61% chance right now that the market is pricing in a 50 basis point cut. If we don't get a 50 basis point cut, which to me, and I believe the broader market is signaling a little bit of turmoil or reason to be concerned, if we only get a 25 basis point cut, my gut is telling me we're going to see a lot of hedges come off the board and a lot of sideline money re-enter the arena, and we're going to move higher. Tucker, I'm a bit hazy on where we're at, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna FOMC LARP and pretend like I know exactly what's gonna happen because it's a really confusing meeting.
It
I
is.
feel a lot less clear about this one than previous ones. I don't know how you feel about the direction that I took it, but what do you think is gonna happen?
I think the most bullish outcome is a 25 basis point cut. It's just, it's like you said, right? Like we need a mean reversion cut, a Fed soft landing victory lap cut, right? Like I think that's your most bullish scenario is 25. That being said, I don't think I mean, I'm trying to say it in a way where it's not like cope, but I don't think that 50 is like as bearish as it seems. I will say this, while CME Fed Watch tool has been pricing in 50, TLT definitely has not priced in 50. Okay. TLT is definitely priced in 25. Like the bond market, I believe, is still pricing in 25. So it's tough, right? Because Powell usually does just whatever the CME says. So, like, are we fading history right now? Right? It's 61 to 39 on the CME, but I can tell that this chart is not priced in 50. Like, the 50 basis point cut, you're going to have, 110 TLT probably. So,
Well,
I
wouldn't
don't,
it be fair to assume that TLT is only pricing in 50 basis points about 60% confidence? You have to assume that it is pricing it in,
Mm,
but with only 6/10 of the confidence that it should, right? So imagine this scenario, Tucker. Imagine it's pricing it in 60%, so a little greater than half, okay? And we have moved up a little bit recently. Imagine we get a 25 basis point cut. I feel like TLT would probably nuke off of that, and then that's the one that you buy.
you think it nukes if they cut 25
Yeah.
because they're trying to price in 50? I don't know. I just
I
think
think they're
it's
partially pricing in I think they're
yeah.
pricing in a little bit more 50 than they are 25. So if you get 25, TLT nukes because it's overpriced, and then you buy that. That's the dip that you buy.
Yeah, I just don't think like this move is really like 50 basis points is a lot, right? Like I don't think this like look at what I mean, this was obviously like
Yeah.
the bottom, but like I feel like we would have seen a bigger move out of TLT if it was trying to price in 50 truly. Like I don't know. But let's look at like US 20 year real quick because that's basically what TLT is. Like, yeah, this thing is gonna fall off a cliff.
Hang on. Do this for me, okay? Because this is the Tommy fractal. Okay, this is the May 2021 fractal. Do me a favor. Draw. No, I
On
like that.
what? On US
No,
20?
yeah, go to the 20-year because
Okay, yeah, yeah.
that's
Yeah,
just inverted. Yeah.
that's
So
Bitcoin.
draw a diagonal line across those bottoms before the recent breakdown. Okay. I wouldn't mind a retest up into that trend line as sort of your complacency shoulder. And then maybe you could open up another chart next to this one
Yeah, let me throw
and
Bitcoin
throw
on
up the
there.
Bitcoin fractal. I don't even need to tell. You know exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's literally the one I slapped on
So
PLT.
see
But
see how dramatic that complacency shoulder was after the break of structure that we had?
because it's tough, because it's not like I would want to say that like this is this, but
I would.
or it's one of these
No,
two,
that's
right?
10K, bro. That's 10K Bitcoin before the bull market. That's
Yeah,
right there. Yeah.
yeah. So then it's like 1, 2, 3, right? And then you do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a 25 basis point uh cut today because I do believe that TLT, yes, they're dragging their feet. I think yes, the bond market is once again clueless a little bit right now,
Hmm.
as they've been for a while, I feel like. But I wouldn't mind a little surprise because technically 25 basis points technically would be a surprise. I wouldn't mind that, and I think you'd get a short-term pop in yields. you'd see that complacency shoulder kind of form, your inverse complacency shoulder on TLT, and then you'd probably see it nuke from there. That might be a good shove right there.
Here's the thing, though. This was your. I mean, you could draw
Yeah,
it however
right
you
there.
want, but like,
Right there.
if we're talking lower highs, right? This was your first lower high, right? And this was your lower high. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think even if it's 60, I feel like it would only be super bearish TLT if they were like telegraphing 50. Everybody was guessing 50. 50 was like 95% priced in, and then they did 25, right? I don't know if 60, 40, and everybody's still thinking 25 is going to nuke TLT. Like, I think cuts at all are probably going to nuke the dollar and pump TLT, most likely. Like,
Is it wrong to think that the CME group is
dude,
not accurately?
who votes on that? Who is like trading that? Is that just like the Fed swap, whatever? Like I don't even know what it's called
I
when you
don't
don't.
think it's a vote. I feel like
No,
actually it might
yeah,
be positioning based. I actually don't know. That's a good question. I feel like I should know that. I don't know. I've just always kind of taken it as truth. Because it has been pretty accurate, right? But the problem with this
yeah.
meeting is that normally we have like a 90% chance of something and like a 10% chance of something else. And you always know
Mhm.
basically what they're going to do. I don't think I've, in the past few years, seen it this close.
No, I haven't either. Yeah, like you said, like he always does what's priced in, but that's always when it's like 90+%, right? We haven't seen like a 60-40 in a long time for sure. Um,
But talking about like Bitcoin specifically, let's get rid of the yields. Let's just look at Bitcoin. All right. I guess my big question is, right, there's going to be volatility. We know that. The market clearly is a little confused on what it's expecting or what it wants. Um, you alluded to it maybe not even really mattering, you know? And I'm assuming you feel that way because you're looking at this chart going, this looks like a bottom. They're just going to pump it no matter what, right?
yeah, I mean, for sure for TLT, I don't think it matters. I think the fact that they're cutting is going to pump TLT probably regardless, but just because I don't know how much is priced into TLT. Like, it's going up, right? But like, let me just go back to that real quick. But like, like this is like a classic little like, I'm pretty sure they call it like an Adam and Eve bottom, right? Like the V and the U, basically. So
Yeah.
like TLT just technically structurally looks pretty bullish, right?
And it
But
just broke structure to the upside for the first time in years. It got
yeah,
above that last lower high.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think TLT looks bullish, which obviously they're going to cut, but with Bitcoin, with Bitcoin, you're kind of like you're really at a fork in the road here, right? Because like you've potentially set your lower high, you're still setting lower lows,
You mean higher
right?
low?
Lower highs, and you kind of set your first higher low, right? Your
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
you need to do that because if not, I mean, you can maybe like double bottom, but like if you don't, it just doesn't. Like this is just such compression for so long. Like it just has to.
And you had so much sell volume into all three of those lows right there.
Yeah.
The
Hmm.
first week of every month in Q3 has basically been filled with statistical outlier sell volume into those lows, which is basically like a giga bear trap. That's
Hmm.
not subjective. Like we could actually throw the volume on there and see it. Like that's the truth. It
Yeah,
is.
it's crazy volume. This is what Binance. Let me do that. Always got to use the Binance chart. Oh, I pulled up everything. Well, don't let the purple and blue scare
Here,
you.
here,
But
do this. Use Leviathan's relative volume indicator. It highlights it way better. So type it into your indicators. Well, just look up his name, Leviathan or whatever. He does a really good job. And go the volume suite.
how the hell do you see?
LEVIA. Go to volume suite, the second one down right there. And then Yeah, go to your settings on this. So double click on it and go to your settings there. And then go to inputs, remove the 1.5. And then you could basically change your primary colors up top to like, much lower. I don't know, just like fade them out, put them at like 50% so you can really see it.
And we can just turn them off.
Turn them off, man. And then what I would do is go to the 12-hour maybe, just so you can get a little bit more data. And like look at the
Yeah.
sell volume that we had at those lows. Like
Yeah.
that's the inverse breakout trader getting destroyed. That's the breakdown trader getting destroyed right there. Like everybody piling in, selling fearfully at the lows.
Yeah, that's your level. Right. When you got above, I mean, the green one, we went up. This one, bottom, bottom, bottom. Right. So,
I don't know how many more traps need to be set if this is going to be a bottom here. We've spent 90 days shoving into the lows, trying to force a breakdown, and it hasn't broken down yet. It
oh, this
feels to
guy,
me like seller exhaustion.
CME Fed watches interest rate traders polling. So it is a poll, apparently.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit less certain.
But every bank has come out and said 25. I mean,
Except
J-
JP Morgan. JP Morgan's the only one that's saying 50, unless that's changed
are
from
they saying
yesterday.
50 though? Because I saw yesterday Jamie Dimon was like, the Fed will cut 25 to 50 basis points.
Dude,
And I
that
was
was a
like,
clown. That was a
thanks,
clown
bro.
headline, man. I was like, dude, that's only been priced in for 6 months. Thanks, Jamie. Go back to
Unreal.
fudding Ethereum, please.
Yeah. Unreal. But yeah, no, the volume definitely suggests we have bottomed here.
I mean, look at that. That's a 3 drive into the lows with huge sell volume each time. And maybe do this, Tucker. Draw a volume profile from January 1st, 2024, all year. This is my favorite view on it. January 1st. So you have to go back a little bit. Like the yearly volume profile. Drag and drop that. Back inside value, right? So we
thank
had
you.
capitulatory sell volume into our value area low first week of July, first week of August, and first week of September into our 2024 value area low.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, is this just like the euthanasia roller coaster, or have we bottomed? It feels like we're running out of steam.
It does feel like the sellers are running out of steam because it's the same pattern as like all of our meme coins, basically, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You simply cannot break down from here. You can't do it. You absolutely can't do it.
No,
You
you
have to
can't do
move
it.
up. Yeah. Also, let me try to find this chart that Jack has posted. It was you saw it this morning. It was the like what happens to the S&P, whether they cut. It's no, whether they go into a recession or not, basically, right?
Yeah.
And the price action before the cut looks very similar to this. Okay, here I'm gonna put this on here. Let's see. Actually, I'll put it on the S&P. See if we can do this. Okay. All right, so this was the data, right? Let's put this in the front. This was the data, right? When we don't enter recession, very good. When we do, not good, obviously, right? So I'm looking at this chart. Basically, for the first 2 months, I mean, I would
How is
say,
a recession defined? Is it the conventional definition of a recession?
yeah, I'd say in hindsight for sure. Um, but either way, you kind of have chop for 2 months, right? Maybe a month and a half, and then you make your decision. But I mean, which of these lines looks more like the S&P, right? Like right now, kind of like before the cut, right? Like I would argue the blue line looks more similar. You know what I mean? I would argue that. Let me just, consolidation into up only, basically.
Double click on your picture and make it more transparent and drag it over the current price.
Like
Study.
basically that, right? Essentially that. I just think this into this just like straight up type of price action into chop near the cuts, right? We could even drag this out more. I mean, like with the gray, with the recession one, like you're already topped. You're topped months ago, essentially, and then you drop and then you chop around and then it's over. So
I'm gonna tell you right now, Dinesh, if we get 75 basis points, it's over, man. Like it's a bear market, man. It's
75 and BP delete their YouTube account.
yeah, it's not gonna be pretty, man. I told our Discord this morning I had a dream last night that we got 150 basis point cuts,
Oh my god, Max.
and I woke up in a sweat.
Oh man. Yeah,
It's
that would
fair to
that would
say
be
I'm
pretty cool.
nervous about this one. We're
Yeah.
not getting that. I just, the subconscious mind is
Mhm.
it's a goofy one.
Yeah. I don't know, I just think it looks identical to the blue line on here.
Well, let's contextualize it, right? Let's let's go back and look at some really bad recessions after cuts, and let's compare where we're at right now, right? Let's throw on unemployment and GDP and effective federal funds rate on the bottom, and let's look at it, right? Because that gray line that you had looks like 2000.com collapse, and it also looks like 2008. You might have to do the other federal funds rate so it goes back further.
Oh, is EFFR not a good one?
I like EFFR because it shows more data points, but it doesn't go back as far. Yeah, go to the top one. That's it. That
And
one goes
then
back further.
what else was the other one?
Unemployment.
Unemployment.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we want to go back and look at, bad times,
I mean, okay, yeah, let's just look at 01, 08, obviously. GDP still up only. You dropped off a little bit
they're
here,
a
but
year GDP year over year rather than
yeah,
'cause that's
yeah.
what we want to see is it might be an indicator, not um
It's an indicator.
it would probably be an indicator because they wouldn't show the ticker for a year over year calculation. So it'd be someone probably made an indicator. I'm sure somebody's made one. I don't know. GDP. There's got to be a year over year.
Mm. Oh, no.
No,
No, no.
maybe not.
Hmm. The Buffett indicator.
What is that?
The washed indicator.
He's washed, man. He sold his apple. He's
He's wa
washed.
Yeah, I don't know. What is, I mean, kinda I like the step line.
Yeah, I want the year over year though, man. That's
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. We're
that's really what
cooked.
we need. Whatever. All right, let's just look at this. So
Okay, where were cuts? Where were cuts? There's some cuts, and there's some cuts.
but
Okay.
then, of course, go back to the cuts in the '80s, right? Everyone loves to throw over the
Yeah.
2000 to 2010 era and just be like, yeah, cuts are bearish. But I'm like, what about that right there? What about that whole time period between like the late '70s through the '80s where we actually had unemployment moving up for periods of time while we were cutting rates, and the market literally just went vertical.
Vertical.
Like verticality was studied.
Yes, it was. Let's see. I mean, there you had cuts. You went down and then up. I don't even know what this was. That's wild.
Yeah, that's someone was drinking on the FOMC podium. I don't know what that was.
I mean, this was pretty much a bottom.
And additionally, right, you can. Okay, someone says add jolts. Can you add jolts?
Yeah. What is it? It's got to be economy.
What would the ticker for that be for jolts?
Oh, shit. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never done it.
Yeah, there we go. Non-farm, I'm sure.
A lack of data.
A simple lack of data.
A lack of data.
Of course, they want it studied for only these two.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. See, here's my thing though with this. Jolts is already downtrending. Okay. This was the top of Jolts both of these times when you started cutting. We're already down a lot on Jolts. So
Yeah.
refuted.
It just so if you go back to like the 70s through the 90s. All right, let's go back there. Keep those up. Can you throw on US inflation as well? Yeah, year over year. In the 70s, we were coming out of a historically high inflationary period of time where we had high inflation, we had high unemployment, and we also had a lot of cuts and then hikes and cuts and hikes. I would argue that because of where we were in 2022 and 2023, it makes a lot more sense contextually coming out of a period, multi-year period of historically high US year over year inflation, that it would make more sense to overlay what happened in the late 70s through the 80s and say we're doing an expedited version of that, right? Because if you look back, and now actually go forward. So like highlight the 70s for us, Tucker. Just like
Yeah. So these were the 70s, basically.
where look at the bottom chart there, the bottom purple. Like we had year over year inflation between 7 and 10% multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, if you go to where we are currently, big difference is that we had a huge spike in inflation. We reached 9.1% at our peak in 2022. It seems a lot more relevant to recognize the similarities between the 70s through the 80s into the 90s than it does to say, yeah, this is the NASDAQ.com bubble collapsing, and this is the housing crisis of 2006 through 2009, when I'm not seeing data or evidence to suggest that that is the case. And 4.2% unemployment with positive GDP and inflation getting closer to the Fed's long-term target or goal of 2% doesn't scream to me, hey, we're about to implode. This screams, hey, we are normalizing. We are in the process of normalizing. The labor market is softening and mean reverting to a more standard level, which, by the way, over the past 4 decades, it's like above 5%. It's like 5.6%.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, there's not bad data. There's not data that's telling me that this is about to be like a doom cut. That's why 50 basis points to me still seems crazy. It still seems way too high.
I think the arguments for 50, at least what I've heard, are it would give the Fed more bandwidth to cut slower, right? Because the arguments that it's bearish are not so much, well, some of them are, but not so much that it's like super short term bearish, but if they cut 25, they're going to have to eventually do some sort of 50 basis point emergency cut in the future because of the way the data is trending. Like that's the bearish argument essentially, and like why they should cut 50 is what I've heard. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it too. Like that's why it's so confusing is I feel like the market is poised to move higher just based on how the charts look after this. Um, but I don't know what data people are referring to of like where the data is trending. What data is trending in a bad direction right now? Like
Yeah,
where can we
they're
point to
trying
say
to
like
yeah, they're trying to point to jolts, or this isn't jolts, but they're trying to jolts looks the same as this, honestly, which is funny, but they're trying
is
to
it
point to this.
deflationary? Is that the data? Like do they think we're entering like a deflationary spiral, which of course would not be good for stocks, but
They're trying to point to this, right? Jolts down, unemployment that, right? They're trying to point to that.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just not seeing the bad data at this point. Like I think that the 4.3% unemployment print, which was 2 prints ago, was bad. It was scary. And we just had a 4.2. And I would say as long as we continue to kind of plateau and we don't see the labor market soften too much, there's not a whole lot you can say to me to convince me that this is at an actual economic contraction right now. To me, it feels like this is a lot more normalization. Like even looking at jolts, right? It's been dropping, but look at where it was in 2022. Like, look at how damn high. Like we saw.
I mean, look at it, the entire run up, right? From 2010 to 2022. It was lower than we are right now, you know? Unemployment was 9% back then. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that is crazy. Let's look at what gold was doing during this time. Can we throw up gold as well? Because gold's been moving quite a bit. Why is it only showing
Let's look at
GLD would take us
this
back to the
one.
70s? I know that.
Yeah, hang on. This should be the one. Yeah,
Yeah,
there it
there we
is.
go.
So right now or back then?
Well, let's look at what it was doing back during the recessions, right? During the cuts.
I mean, it was nuking into it. This cut, it was still going up into it. It went up in between. Yeah, that's tough. Not a lot of signal. Like this, you were going up into the cut, they cut, and then bang, went up again.
How about the 70s? So it was like gold going up, equities going up, inflation coming down.
Yeah, gold topped out right before they cut here
Mhm.
in 1980. In 74, this is 74. They cut. That was the bottom for gold. Went up, dropped. I mean, there are a bunch of these. Oh, we don't even really have history for that on gold. I mean, they cut and then it went straight up. So,
Let's ignore some of the data for now. Let's look at like total 3, others, total 2. Let's lean into the technicals a little bit, right? Because it's just
hmm
a lot of that data is so high moving. Yeah, it's like so high time frame. When I look at this chart, I go, "That's a bull flag, brother. That's a bull flag."
Yeah.
You know? Do you think it's a bull flag?
Yes. The meme of the guy standing up, bull flag.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally that. I mean, this whole like I don't know, this whole move, these charts again kind of point me back to being a 2019 bro of like, you could be like right here after like retesting all this, but yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to be bearish altcoins after total 3 dropped 40%. Others actually does it better. Others actually does it a lot better. Others is down 60% since March, right? And I would point to this also. Where is it? Yeah, 2019, same thing. Watch this. It dropped the same amount, 59%.
Simply ignoring COVID, as every man
Simply,
should.
I'm choosing to ignore COVID, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what would have happened if COVID didn't happen? I mean, this chart was going vertical. Like we were literally about to study verticality, and then COVID happened, and then we did it anyway. But yeah, even off the bottom, I'm pretty sure it was similar. Pumped 4.5x.
Because the left side of the IQ bell curve right here doesn't even know about the economic data. They don't even know what FOMC is.
Hmm.
And they're going, "Oh, Bitcoin had a halving in April. Oh, US election coming up. Everything has pulled back. We're retesting high time frame levels of previous supply now flipped to demand, presumably. It's time to shove."
Hmm.
Right? You buy that dip in Q3 after Bitcoin halving and you hold into 2025 now. That's what the left side of the IQ bell curve is telling you to do. The mid curve is screaming, this is a distribution and we're in a recession and we'll never pump again and it's over.
Hmm. What is the right side saying?
You know what they're saying.
It's saying I'm not gonna fade this, and I'm not going to fade this right here.
I like that we're dropping a little bit into FOMC. I like
Same.
it a lot.
That I'm not gonna fade liquidity cycles, and that we're just seeing liquidity come back. Like the fact that we're at the same levels back here with, we can even take a little measurement, right? Where were we? 60K with 93% less crypto USD liquidity. I mean, fathom when that comes back, right?
I'm gonna steal the chart. Again, I keep leaning into this right here. I talked about this yesterday on the Andy and Wolf space, where this is sort of your oversimplified left side, mouth breathing, drooling on your keyboard, 60
Mhm.
IQ way to approach the cycle. Oh, we had a Bitcoin halving. Here's all the halvings marked out in the previous 3 cycles, counting this one as our third, right? Here's the US presidential elections marked out on both. Here's where we're currently at. Look at where we're at. We've perfectly synced up with the previous 2 cycles. And the previous 2 cycles, 2017 and 2021, from bear market low all the way through global cycle top, was about 1,068 days. We should have about a year of awesomeness left, right? And we got a little bit overextended here because of the ETF pump. And we spent the last 6 months just destroying everybody to sync up perfectly with our previous 2 cycles. And we're about to do this, right? We're about to move up, about to do this into the election, pull back, and then maybe we get diminishing returns and we do something like this. And this is the rest of your cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be a 50 IQ mouth breather. Happy to be.
Happy to be.
Happy to be.
More than happy to be.
Yeah.
And we want to talk about global M2. Like it is in price discovery right here. Right? I think that's what you were showing, Tucker, is that global M2, not just US, global. We're in price discovery. And that's, by the way, what we were doing over here as well. Look at when the bull market really began last cycle, Bitcoin up top. Like look at where we were at. We were moving up. And I'm going to ignore COVID, right? But if we really flatten it out, if you ignore COVID, right, look at the bull run, global M2. Going back over here.
Zoom in on that a little bit before COVID.
I will. Just one moment.
Yeah, the M2 before COVID. I mean, yeah, see that for me gives even more credence to a 2019 style, like where we're at right now, right? Because we are like just breaking out.
We're like right here.
Yeah, like
And if you
that's
just ignore COVID,
yeah.
like this is where we're at. Like this. And we're in this region. It's hard to not want to just look at this and go, yeah, it's how much more pain do we need? We've been doing nothing syncing up with the previous two cycles for literally 6 months. Stopped in March, April, May, June, July, August, September. It's literally been 6 months since we all-time high top for Bitcoin. And I look at the previous two cycles and I go, yeah, cheaper money equals good.
I know. I saw a post from somebody the other day. I commented on it yesterday actually about I don't know if he stole your idea or chart max, but
Someone
about
stole my chart.
IWM. Yeah, it was about
Someone stole my
IWM.
chart. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
IWM needing to break out for Bitcoin to go into price discovery. And I was like, where have I heard that before? But
They stole my chart.
yeah, pretty
It's
much.
over. It's over.
But it was like skewed bearishly, right? It was like IWM like struggling to break out. Bitcoin's never gone price discovery without IWM, blah blah blah, right? And I commented and I was like, yeah, man, like um cheaper cost of capital is super bearish for small caps, totally. Like what? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're bearish on IWM with the structure it has as we're about to make debt cheaper and money cheaper. Like, what are we talking about? You know?
Yeah. And if we want to let's look at IWM, right? Actually, let's look at IWM, right? So here's IWM, small cap companies here in the US. Bitcoin down below. We'll move it up. We'll make it look pretty. We'll make it nice and orange. We'll draw out the all-time highs. It's like I look at I look at this and I look at the Russell as a bullish chart right now. And guys, let's like the stream, show some love if you can. Costs no money to like the stream, and it really helps us out. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And what we can look at right here is that crypto has never gone in to price discovery without the Russell first going into price discovery. And I'm going to exclude the little deviation. The little Nancy Pelosi sold the top deviation. So we have IWM and we have Bitcoin. Here's the thing is like these small cap companies, in my opinion, will be immediately benefited by any effective federal funds rate reduction. They operate a lot more dependently on debt, variable interest rate debt. And when I look at this chart, I go, all right, the Russell went into price discovery right here. And we'll make this purple because I have IWM as purple right there. Bitcoin went into price discovery pretty quickly after. We'll make it orange for when Bitcoin did. Russell goes into price discovery. Bitcoin goes into price discovery right here. And when I look at IWM and I go, all right, they're about to cut. These small cap companies, they need that relief. They're going to get that relief today. IWM is one of the only major indexes that hasn't gone into price discovery yet. Right? You've had the S&P 500, you've had the NASDAQ, you've had the Dow, all in price discovery, and you haven't had the Russell yet. And I imagine that we really should see IWM be one of our leaders. And then when IWM finally decides it's going to go into price discovery, which by the way, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Like it's one good week away. 7%. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing, right? Some good data could send us there pretty quickly. This to me for IWM feels like we had a very long accumulation, bear market accumulation. We're going to label this, as I often do, as mega demand. Trademarked, mega demand. And you can see that we've now bounced off of this previous bear market reaccumulation numerous times, almost like it's waiting for something. And if it goes into price discovery, I'm telling you, Bitcoin's going into price discovery very, very quickly after that. So I don't really know what the bear case on IWM here is structurally. I don't know what that would be. And if we want to look at IWM a different way, we could look at IWM versus the NASDAQ. And to me, this looks like it's due for a little bit of relief. This is IWM versus the NASDAQ. That to me looks like a bear trap. This to me looks like IWM is going to move up at least to right here if we were to chart it like this as a pair. So for those that don't know what you're looking at here, this is small caps in the US paired against basically mega cap tech. This is shitcos versus blue chips. And let's put the S&P 500. Should probably put Bitcoin down below. We can do that too. But here's the S&P 500 down here, and you can see there's some periods of time when you see IWM outperform the NASDAQ and where that potentially means we are within the cycle. Right? Over here in Q4 of 2020, small caps outperformed blue chips. S&P went up. Here, actually, they held up much, much better. This one didn't really This was a little bit weird, right? They actually didn't bleed quite as much. That was very interesting. Let's go back even further. Actually, I want to put Bitcoin down below. See if there's Bitcoin USD. So like I mean, it's obviously like a down only chart. But see, I view this as like pretty clear outperformance for, many, I mean, a year, right? Puts in a bottom, performs extremely well. Bitcoin goes into a bull market, right? And then going back even further, same thing, puts in a bottom, IWM versus the NASDAQ, Bitcoin goes into a bull market.
Max, those are not those are not small moves either, right?
No,
Like those are like 30 to 40% moves against the NASDAQ, which is not small for the equity market by any means.
no, it's not. It just looks small because it's a down only chart. But
Yeah, I mean those are huge moves.
here, I think I need to put this down below, Bitcoin up top.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You know what it looks most like is 2016. Just the IWM over NDX looks a lot like 2016 when it bottomed in March.
This is incredibly hard to get this to show up on the screen.
I know.
It's just it's such.
Put Bitcoin below.
So you can see these bottoms here, right? Where you kind of capitulate and then you bottom out and you pop quickly. Ooh,
Oh
Tucker.
my. Wow. Are we going to go for a fourth tap?
So again, when small caps bottom out against mega cap tech is when you get your Bitcoin bull run kickoff.
Max, can you fathom what a fourth tap would do?
Someone
If we
call Hisaka.
if we broke, I mean, a clean breakthrough of that trend line on a fourth tap, that's the super cycle boys are right. Like, wow.
And it's tough to want to call like a bottom on this chart, but I mean
No,
bottom.
look at 2016 on IWM. It looks the same. Like the bottoming structure looks pretty much the same to 20. Yeah, right in there. Like if you don't have to do this, but if you zoom in, it looks identical. I'm looking at it right now.
Well, let's fractal it. Why not? Right?
Fractal it. Yeah, right there.
Imagine
Oh my
that.
God. Can you imagine a breakout of that trend line?
It feels like a bottom for IWM versus the NASDAQ.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. Right? That's the whole thing. Guys, let's get some likes on this stream. Come on now.
Oh no, what are we at?
190. We got 450 watching on YouTube.
450 and we only have 190.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
Tragic.
Talk about a downtrend.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you
Guys,
guys
if you are enjoying the content, do us a favor. Just take one quick moment. Hit that thumbs up for us. It really does wonders for the channel. It does wonders for our growth. And we thank you so much for your support. But the mega cap tech overlords have determined that the way that we grow as a channel is by getting likes on our content. I wish it wasn't so, but it is. All you got to do, take one moment, hit that thumbs up button. There we go. All right, 223. Nice little pop there.
Everyone should be doing this. Why isn't everyone like Jack?
I know.
Like it before we even start.
I know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this pair has me encouraged, right? Like we seem to be trying to put in a bottom, right? We seem to be trying to put in a bottom. Bull divs clearly printing on this pair, right? I hate the stock settings for RSI, man. It just
I know you got to
it's
turn off the
so
MA. You got to make I like to make it thicker, the RSI. It looks better.
I'll make it thicker.
Boom, look at that.
Or else gonna make it black. That's
Mm.
better. So when I look at this, right, we see nice bull divs on this pair. This is RSI for IWM versus NASDAQ. Bull divs right here, right? Nice little bull div. Downtrend right here, bull div. Then you get that little pop. And currently, many bull divs, right? Many bull divs. It feels like this pair is bottom to me. It does. It feels like we should get a move up to 70 on the weekly, which has been, you know, right there, right there, right there. It feels like it should continue to move up, which should be good for Bitcoin.
And Max, this gives credence to kind of a long, not maybe not a longer cycle, right? But like just that we don't have to go up immediately, right? Like look at the RSI on IWM, over NDX, right? Like it takes a while. And look at where those purple lines are on your chart, right? Like time was on our side, as some say.
Yeah.
Time was on our side.
It's just a thing where it's like if this pair is bottomed, if IWM versus the NASDAQ is bottomed, it's going to be hard to convince me that Bitcoin's not going to go up. Even if this pair only goes up from right here another 15%. Bitcoin should move up with it. And let's get rid of this now and let's look at some other pairs, right? How about like Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ? Let's see what that's doing. Is it time for Bitcoin to finally start outperforming? Here's Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ. For those that don't know what this is, chart moves down, your money's better put in the NASDAQ. If it's moving up, money is better put in Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ. This doesn't feel like it's over to me. Like this feels like, look at this. Right? Look at this. This looks like your bear market reaccumulation, and you break out right here. You break out right here, and you pop back up, and you reestablish demand on top of the previous bear market reaccumulation. You pop up and you retest. This feels like demand to me. It feels very much so like demand to me. I view this as a bullish chart. I don't know about you, Tucker, but this to me feels bullish.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of like a total 3 or others chart, right? Like just that big move up, bleed back into support, consolidate, and it's kind of the Will's outlook perspective of, they bring it down to bring it up, they bring it up to bring it down. Everything, he says that all the time, right? But that's not a chart that would like to be short, right? Like that's a decent bias check is like how comfortable would I be being short or long this chart? You know what I mean? Like I would short that, right? Like
Yeah, look at
I
that.
would fade that chart. That's a bearish retest in my opinion. But yeah, that looks weak into resistance right there on the lower time frames. That looks weak. That looks like it wants to roll over.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Minimum go retest the trend line. And it'll be pretty much your fourth or fifth tab that thing's going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your... Yeah, I mean, you got really deep on this chart, man.
Yeah, I mean, that would be what, like 50K? No, lower. That would be like 45K. Yeah.
Here's Bitcoin SPX. Pretty similar thing. Pretty similar. Yeah, I just don't know what people are expecting here. You know, like, do you really think this is gonna just... I don't know, like, how long can you bleed into, you know, how long can you bleed into like a really high time frame level and just continually get bearish on this? I don't... Give me that. Give me that all day long. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You only get bearish if that chart completely loses the green box, right? But
Yeah, I mean, look at this, like, 3 tap into the low right here.
I mean, another good one to pull up is Bitcoin Nvidia is absolutely bottomed, and it's not even close. Zoom out. It's floored. It's done. That's all you're gonna get.
Look at this. Mm. Last inefficiency on the chart right there. Look at this. Last little inefficiency. It's all cleaned up.
Did it fill it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
perfectly.
There you go.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Filled it.
Do you think USD prices are going up or down if Bitcoin is outperforming Nvidia?
I think Nvidia is doing
What it always does.
up. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough chart to want to buy into because it's just so up, right? But at the same time, you know, I could view it like this. We haven't lost trend yet. And just as easily as people could say, yeah, it's, you know, it's way overextended. And what if you break upwards from here? You know?
I don't even think it matters. I think Nvidia is just gonna chop for like 6 months. I mean, bull chop, but like chop. And the Nvidia Bitcoin chart is just saying that Bitcoin's gonna outperform.
I mean, look what Nvidia did over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It
saying.
gapped up and it chopped for until it like really went on to make a new high. 228 days. Does it really matter? Gapped up, actually filled the gap there. 228 days would take you into next year. Very, very early Q1.
Study Bitcoin Q4 performance in an election year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. That's what sends the pair higher, not Nvidia bleeding.
And here's Bitcoin. What was Bitcoin doing during that time? Bitcoin started moving up aggressively right here. So Bitcoin went from 28K to 48K while Nvidia was still in this giant range, right? So maybe something similar again. And I love that comparison because it's also the same time of year. This was, you know, September, October right here all the way through into January. So I love the fact that seasonally we're lining up with where we were. So, you know, Bitcoin Bitcoin just ranged right here, and then it started moving up before Nvidia did. And right now, Bitcoin is getting close to that 200 plus day, region. And it's possible again that we start moving up before Nvidia does. So what's Nvidia going to do? Maybe Nvidia just does this. Next year up. And in the meantime, Bitcoin can go up just like it did last Q3 into Q4.
I think the next 6 to 9 months are going to be absolutely crazy. I think Bitcoin Nvidia looks exactly the same way it bottomed in 2016, 2017 before it went
Really?
just vertical. Literally vertical.
Well, let's look at it again, right? So Bitcoin USD divided by Nvidia.
I just did Bitcoin market cap because it doesn't just do BTC over Nvidia. But I mean, it probably looks the same. But
You want the market cap?
yeah, just do that.
I'd be happy to do it for you. I'd be happy to.
Now, are you in log?
See, I don't like this because the market cap one only goes back. We're going to do it my way.
What did I do then?
Bitcoin, Nvidia.
I just typed in BTC Nvidia. Look at the bleed into the low. Okay. You don't even just look at Bitcoin Nvidia. Just look at the bleed into the low right there, and then the consolidation, and then kind of the first leg up.
Let's move it up a little bit.
Yeah, look at the low on the pair in 2016, 2017. And look at the way that it bottomed.
I see it. Like that little cluster right down there.
Yes.
You're talking about this little bleed.
Yes. Literally that. And where were we in relation to our all-time high?
Look at that.
Having put on the all-time highs right there.
Purple lines are Bitcoin halvings. And we'll mark out the Bitcoin all-time highs.
Yeah, and this gives even more credence to the 2016-17 cycle. Right?
Even this, right? That's really interesting.
Yeah, even that. You're consolidating under your all-time high after a halving in an election year. What are we talking about? Look at that.
Interesting. I mean, there's a lot that's pointing to this needing to go up, man. Like right now. It's I don't know what we're waiting for.
We're waiting for Big Powell to cut 25 today and send us.
You think that's it, huh? It's that simple?
I mean, I think he's going to send us today. I do. I mean, there's going to be volatility, but
Volatility incoming.
not out of the woods yet.
You have to admit, this is pretty crazy right here. How Bitcoin Nvidia has done these little like bleed bear traps into the lows right as Bitcoin has been on the verge of price discovery in the previous two cycles right after the Bitcoin halvings. That's
Every
pretty
time.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Brain is off. Okay. Brain is completely off after looking at this.
That's interesting. I have to keep my brain off.
Yeah.
I must.
Yeah. It's this easy. But people are going to screw it up every time. There's a reason everyone doesn't become billionaires every 4-year cycle. They just screw it up every single time. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, look at this, man. I don't know what there is to be so bearish about. Someone help me. Help me understand how this time is different.
I mean, have you seen the yield curve, Max?
Brother, I invented the yield curve.
Oh my god. But Max, don't get complacent. Anything can happen.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
What does that even mean? Of course anything can happen.
I was molded. Just no context. I was molded by it.
I was molded by it. Oh man.
Can you do ETH NVIDIA? It's a tall order.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm scared too. I don't think I've ever looked at it.
Should I save this chart? Is this worth tweeting out or no?
Yeah, for sure.
You think so?
You got to give Big Haggard credit though. I built that chart.
I feel like I just made it live though. Why
Yeah,
would I
but
give you credit?
coached you through it, Max. I coached you. And actually, Tommy's the one who told me to look at it. So there's a daisy chain here. No, tweet it for sure. Tweet it.
You think I should tweet this? Do you think would you
Yes.
like it?
Alpha.
Would you retweet this chart?
Of course, I'll insta retweet.
Instant retweet.
Yeah.
I want Haggard's army behind this chart.
Oh, the army will come. Okay. You build it, they will come.
Fine, I'll save this chart. I want everybody to like and retweet this. Otherwise, I'm never making a chart again. And I'm retiring. And I'm calling everything bearish. That's what I'm going to do. If I don't get engagement on this, then I'll just become a perma bear and a macro boy.
Now, should you make those red zones green, though?
Of course I should.
Yeah, I was going to say. Might as well.
Yeah, of course. Study that. Looks pretty convincing.
I'm sold. I've been sold. Man, I can really see ETH just exploding out of this low, bro.
Here's the thing about ETH, man. Here's the thing, and we're going to chart NVIDIA ETH as well. Everybody likes to talk about how cooked the structure is for ETH.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Here, let me save this. We'll save this. We'll go Bitcoin all-time high comparison. We'll lock that and we'll get that off the screen. Now let's look up ETH NVIDIA. Here's the thing about ETH, man. One, it doesn't ever perform well until after Bitcoin goes into price discovery. It just doesn't happen. All right, it just doesn't happen. And I would argue that this time is not any different at all. I don't even know what to look at with this chart, man. This is just bizarre to me how we literally come on, man. People that's not a coincidence. That's look at that. You're going to take out that all-time high last cycle? Tell me it's just a coincidence?
I'm just seeing Big Sal back in our comments section. It's a sight for sore eyes. Yeah.
It's a sight for sore eyes.
Not a coincidence though. I agree. Not a coincidence. Yeah.
Demand. Mega demand.
Ultra mega demand.
Ultra mega giga demand.
Giga demand.
I don't know. I don't see as much signal in this. I mean, some, right? Oh my gosh. All right. Here's the thing about ETH, man. Here's the thing about ETH. It's so easy to pile on the ETH is garbage train. Everybody wants to make fun of ETH. I get it. All right. I get it. It's hard to defend. Vitalik is singing on stage, not exactly looking like a great mascot for ETH. I'm with you. Okay. I'm with you. I hear you. If Bitcoin looked like this, I would be concerned. Okay. But Bitcoin doesn't look like this. Bitcoin will, as it always does, Bitcoin will save ETH because that's what Bitcoin does. Is Bitcoin saves ETH every single cycle. Okay. Here's Bitcoin looking ready to gig ascend. And here's ETH. Bitcoin doesn't look as bad as ETH. Like there's no other way around it. Bitcoin looks fine here. Okay. You had 1, 2, 3 giant sell events right into that range low, right into your value area low for the year. ETH is below the range. ETH looks not so good. But if Bitcoin moves up from here, ETH will move up and be saved as a result. And I'm telling you, when ETH gets back above this level, then it starts to look really good, right? When you're in a manipulation phase of a PO3 or a deviation, when you're down here, you're never going to look good. It looks bad every single time. But when you get back above it and you're back inside of this range, suddenly you look really, really good. And you look like you're ready for expansion. And you look like, at minimum range high, but probably even more.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like you get back above 2,800 on ETH, then everybody's going to be in the, oh, ETH looks so good camp. It's so easy when ETH is down here to be like, ETH looks terrible. Yeah, no shit, it looks terrible, but it doesn't matter because all we're doing is just trading Bitcoin. Everything we're doing is trading Bitcoin. By trading ETH, you're really just trading Bitcoin. Trading Andy, you're trading what Bitcoin does because Bitcoin affects what ETH does because ETH affects what Andy does. It's all just connected and it's just different ways to trade Bitcoin. So how could I be bearish ETH here with Bitcoin looking like it's going to go up?
Address this because no one here is telling you that you should be holding spot ETH. That is not the point of any of this. You should probably
No.
actually not be holding spot ETH. The point is that your memes on ETH are going to need ETH to do well.
Yeah.
Right. No, I hold 0 spot ETH, and I'm pretty sure you don't either now, Max. Or do you?
The only spot ETH that I hold is just for gas, and then I have some in Aave that I just
Yeah.
borrow against, but it's
Yeah.
not like no.
There you go.
And I agree that like there's not a huge incentive to hold ETH as just an L1 for this cycle. There's really not. Like there's just not. I think it will go through a period of outperformance, right? But also with ETH, I think it's important to recognize this. Say, okay, let's mark out where Q4 began or begins. So here's Q4. Let's go back to last cycle. Let's mark out where Q4 began last cycle. There's Q4 last cycle. This is in log mode. This was junk. And super locally, right? Let's zoom in a little bit. You could argue the exact same thing is happening right now. Here, I actually have a chart saved for this. Let's do this. I'll pull it up. Here. Study this.
What is that, 2020?
This was last cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should put it in whatever. It's fine. You get the point. And this red box is like your bear market must hold level, right? Just saying. ETH always looks bad in Q3 of the Bitcoin halving year. Did last time. It's doing the exact same thing. How many people down here? How many people down in this region really would have thought that ETH was about to rip to 5K in the coming year? ETH was at $350 down here. Watch this chart play out. Oh man, ETH looks so cooked. Look at it. It broke structure. We're in a range. Oh my goodness. It just looks terrible. Let's just watch it. There it goes. Oh my gosh, it suddenly looks good again in Q4. Oh my.
Dragged up by Bitcoin, and then you'll see ETH BTC start ripping. Bang, right there. There you go. Right on the yearly open of the post-halving year. Who could have foreseen? I need Louis here to do one of these.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Like, look at this. Boom. You wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
Boom. Jan 1 Q4 push all alts to ETH. So I'm not really going to be the rotator at this point. I don't think it's worth it. But if you weren't in crypto and wanted to get in and had money, I would say Bitcoin's going to outperform until the end of the year. Dominance goes up. Then you hit the rotation to ETH for about 2 months. Then you rotate all of that into poop coins for another few months. And then you sell it all. That is probably what's going to happen. Now, here's the thing, though. The entire time, your low caps, your poop coins, as I said, are going to get dragged up at a minimum by Bitcoin and ETH, right? So it's not really worth it probably to hit the rotations, but if you were somebody who wanted to do that, that's the cycle, right? That's the cycle I would run. But you know, if Bitcoin goes to 80K, Andy and Wolf are going to pull 10Xs. So, you know, it's just not worth it for me. But
Yeah, we got our bags packed, man. We're ready for this.
Yeah.
Q3 ETH looks terrible. Hold it into next summer. Imagine.
Throw that on there. Boom. Higher. Much higher.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah, no,
I'm
you
not
can't.
done yet.
You can't be done.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done. They will study.
22K ETH.
Billions must study.
Raul Paul was right.
Dude, why couldn't it do that, though? Here's the thing. Why is it crazy to think that ETH can't go up 340% more than its previous cycle all-time high. Is that crazy to think about?
What is that, like a 4x, 4.5x?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that crazy to think about? Bitcoin went from 19K to 70K last cycle. Are you telling me that ETH can't do this? How about you even give me this? Fuck,
It
I'll even take
should
this.
it
I
should
don't.
at least be able to hit a 3x from its
Yeah,
previous all-time high, which would be like 15K.
yeah. Everybody's like 10K will never happen. 10K is crazy. 10K blah 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 blah. Brother, ETH went to 5K last cycle. Are you telling me we can't pull a 2x? Are you telling me ETH can't pull a 2x? That's
Yeah.
egregious.
Everybody's hating on ETH because it's down 50%, blah, blah, blah. We get it. I understand. Okay. But no one's ready for the move like that. No one is ready. And the dunking on ETH and the maxis. I don't know if they've been running spaces yet or not, but
I've
I've
seen
been
some
seeing
tweets.
I've
I've
seen
seen
some
some tweets.
tweets.
I've seen
Yeah,
some tweets.
where sentiment is getting there. Freeman, my brother in Christ, no one is telling you to hold spot ETH. Not one single person on here is telling you to hold spot ETH. I promise you that is not the message. Okay? I promise you. Okay.
Bro, the only reason we care about ETH at all is because all of our meme coins are on ETH. You
Yes.
want Pepe to do well, ETH needs to go up. You want Andy to do well, ETH needs to go up. You want Wolf to do well, ETH needs to go up. You want Brett to do well, ETH needs to go up. You want me to be smiling and having a lot of fun on these shows, you need ETH to go up.
Mm-hmm.
I need price to go up.
Max porting memes on Sol. They're doing
What if
great.
this is the global top for Sol ETH right here? This comment.
I have one of the accounts I follow who's pretty good is uber bearish Sol BTC right now.
Yeah.
Uber. Pull up Sol BTC real quick.
I'd happily do that for you, Tucker. I would happily oblige.
Yeah.
Sol BTC.
Yes.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. It looks a little toppy.
Yeah, it does.
It looks a little bit like Solana boys are about to be punished for all their racist tokens right here.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
Justice might get
And it
done.
kind of looks like it's gonna want to retest your bear market range high, which it never did. I mean, that looks a little questionable. Would you long that? I mean, Tucker.
I mean, it looks pretty good. I would be a breakout trade or
All right, here's the thing. You are safe until this low breaks right here.
yeah.
Okay. If this breaks right here, you're not looking good, bro. If that low
Oh,
breaks and
man,
you're right here,
he just hit us below the belt, Max.
what did he say? What did he say?
Looks a hell of a lot better than ETH BTC.
Well, here's the difference, bro. Here's the difference. Here is the difference. Here's the difference is that this right here, this looks like Sol BTC. You can't tell me that doesn't look like the same damn chart right here. Because it
Mm-hmm.
fucking does. It looks like the same chart right here. And it looks like you're about to get cooked. That's the
Mhm.
difference. Okay.
ETH BTC is already cooked. All right, that's public
Yeah.
knowledge. All right,
Study
everyone
being
is
already
aware.
cooked.
Yeah, study being almost done being cooked.
Yeah. We've been in the deep fryer, man.
Yeah,
You've been in froth.
study the regime shift.
That's right. I mean, how would you feel if I were to tell you as a man that you're about to experience what you were just making fun of? How would you feel?
You said you guys love footing Sol. Sol was the play, okay, but that was in 2023. Sub $20, sub $30, Sol was the play. Okay, now I'm not saying Sol memes can't do well, but they've had a good run. All right, let's just recognize that. They've had a good run.
Yeah, I
ETH
mean,
maxis. Oh, study underperformance. No, brother, no.
they won't listen, bro. They
I'm the
won't.
opposite of an ETH maxi, okay? We're all actually Bitcoin maxis if we're being honest, but
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
All I'm going to say is I see it. I see this. And additionally, going back further, oh my gosh, look at this too, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a tough look.
Yeah. Jeez, I haven't looked at that yet.
I mean, that looks the same, doesn't it? Our man was just making fun of us. But I'm just saying maybe you're cooked and you don't know it yet. I mean, what if it's doing the exact same thing? Look at that.
I mean, here's the thing. We all need to turn into BNB maxis in about a week. That's real.
That's real.
Okay. That's real.
I mean, what if, Would you be okay?
I would be okay. Mhm.
Would you be okay? I don't think many people would be okay. I'm not defending ETH. I'm just saying, look out.
Yeah, this isn't like an RL1 or this L1 is better than that L1. Like, I don't
I don't
care.
care.
I don't
I
care.
do not care. And by the way, Sol BTC could do this and Sol USD could still go up.
Mhm.
Have you considered that? That this chart might just be Bitcoin going up a lot more than Sol over the next year? That's possible. But this chart coming into demand, this chart looking distributive. Just saying.
Yeah. We'll see. It's not going to play out exactly the same as ETH, but that is the point at the end of the day is pretty much every altcoin is going to trend towards zero against Bitcoin over multiple years. I mean, ETH is kind of proof of that. It's an oscillator obviously, right? But you know,
Mhm.
it's tough to outperform Bitcoin on a multi-year time frame in a singular altcoin.
It is. Very much so. But all right, that's the show for today, guys. Do me a solid before you guys go. Please consider liking and also subscribing to the channel if you guys are new here. We greatly appreciate your guys' support on a daily basis. Now, hang with me while I tell you about how you can join us and support us and yourself even further. If you check out the links in the description below, you can go to our beautiful website here. You can navigate to our premium page. We now have the BB terminal, which is out, hot, fresh off of the press, guys. It's got everything that you could want or need. It's got heat maps, agar, derivatives data, spaghetti charts, DCA indicators, on-chain stuff. Additionally, you could sign up for our Discord as well. We do 2.5 hours a day of private live voice calls with the entire BB team and community. All right, so a few different options down here if you want to take your trading game to the next level and you want to take this game seriously with all of us here at BB. You can sign up for the BB terminal plus the Telegram alerts channel for $97. We are right now still in our beta testing process, so it is discounted, but it's awesome. Here's everything that you can expect right here. Additionally, if you want that little extra bit, 24/7 line of communication with me, Tucker, and the BB team, plus access to all of us here at BB, positioning, conversations, private TA sessions, all that good stuff. Check out these 2 Discord options, guys. They are expensive, but you will see exactly why it is worth it, because you will see how hard we work, and we are pumping out hours per day of private content for you guys within the Discord, okay? And by the way, these 2 Discord packages over here, they include the BB terminal, okay? So if you just want to use the terminal as a standalone, Swiss Army knife, all you could ever need to succeed in these markets, everything you could ever want, and we're adding on more stuff every single week right here, BB terminal. If you want that little extra bit, full transparency, everything we're doing, check out the Discord over here, guys. Also, if you really want to level up, check out the BB Academy, guys. We have 2 courses available for you right here. One I made recently. It's this free one right here. It is Mastering Trading View. If you like my charts, if you like how I present the data, definitely consider taking this. It's a 100% free course. I show you how to make your Trading View charts beautiful, step by step, everything you could want. If you want to take your trading game to the next level, the BB team, me, Tucker, and all the analysts spent about 6 months crafting meticulously what we consider to be one of the best courses in all of trading on the entire internet in the history of courses. I'm being dramatic, but it is very good. All right. You can learn all of our strategies. It's all very neatly organized. It's got quizzes. It's got everything you can want. You can review everything over here. Some of it you may know, some of it you may not know. But again, there's a lot of people out there teaching TA, some free, some paid, some good, some really bad. We can save you a lot of time and a lot of money sifting through the garbage and the junk. It is an investment, but it's a good one, guys. Here's everything that you could need or want. Master the art of trading, different styles of TA, brought to you by the BB team, guys. There's also a link to that in the description below. So join us somewhere, guys. Join us on the BB terminal. Join us in the Discord. Join us in the Telegram. Check out the BB Academy. And again, guys, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate your guys' consistent support of what we are building here at BB. Thank you guys for the comments. 1,000,000,000% recommend BB Academy. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys, please like and subscribe before you go. Join us somewhere. Love you all, and we will see you guys tomorrow. But stay safe. It's FOMC, guys. Seriously. Stay safe. Volatility incoming. All right. See you guys.